If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
What?
Any other questions?
And good evening and welcome people to a special pectoral edition of Dude and a Monkey. I am one of your co-hosts, Mark Foster, and as ever I'm joined by
Ian Loring. Mark.
Hello.
Man City and Liverpool have agreed a £49 million deal for Raheem Sterling.
Good fucking riddance.
Yeah, man. I've got to say, if I was a Man City fan, I would not want him.
He is a odious little shit. I'm not pretending he isn't a talented odious little shit, but I honestly, categorically could say I have watched every single game he has played for Liverpool, and he is never ever going to be worth more than 49 million or the 50 million or whatever it will end up being. He will never be worth more than his potential is right now.
I say good on Liverpool for getting playing hardball.
It was inevitable that was going to happen, and I think a lot of people knew it was going to happen. I was told by a journalist, football journalist friend of mine, about 2 weeks ago that it was done. The deal was done, but they didn't want it to go through until August. And then Raheem Sterling started behaving like a little shit and essentially just ringing sick. Oh, I haven't worked today because I'm not very well. Really? It is. I was listening to it. I'm going to go off on a little mini tangent. I was listening to a Liverpool-based podcast the other day, and the journalist for The Times, Rory Smith, was saying it is quite literally like him and his agent have gone through the Dirty Tricks handbook, Agent Dirty Tricks handbook, and just picked fucking every single one to fucking play. He's a good player. He's not a great player. He has the potential to be a very good player. Not gonna be happy, not gonna be sad to see the back of him though. I think he's poisonous in a dressing room, to be honest.
Yeah.
When you're a 20-year-old kid who hasn't really had the best of seasons, and you're offered 100 grand a week, and you turn around and go, well, I want 150 and I want to go somewhere else, and you start behaving like that, it's a little bit like, all right, go away then, we'll take a 50 million, and then someone will go, but remember what happened to Scott Sinclair and Jack Rodwell and Micah Richards? Man City are a great club, and I don't want to shit on Man City because I don't agree with all the mudslinging that comes with them having money, but they've not proved to be a great breeding ground for young English talent. That's just a fact. It's not a having a go at them. The fact is, don't get me wrong, majority of clubs aren't great breeding grounds for young English talent. They're just not. But yeah, I'm happy just to see the fucking back of him.
And less than 4 weeks till the start of the season now.
Oh fuck! I fucking hate off season. I hate it.
Yeah.
It's, you know what? This is the right time. This is the time every year when Sky put their prices up. And if you're a football fan and you have the Sky Sports package, which essentially is just a fucking football package, this is the right time because you go, fucking, I want some football now. I want it now. I'm sick of this. And so you go when they go, oh, it's an extra £6. You go, I don't care. When is it on? It's horrible. And the thing is, I was there going, oh, it's all right, because I've got the Women's World Cup, the Under-21s Championship, and the Copa America. That'll see me through. It'll be brilliant. Wait, what? Nobody's showing the Copa America? What? Why? I've got to watch bad streams of the Copa America. This sucks. BT Sport at least was showing the Women's World Cup, so I got to watch some of that. I watched a little bit of the Under-21s, but now there's nothing. All there is the upcoming friendlies, and they're shit. I just want a football back.
Well, the thing is, it's like a week earlier than it usually is.
Yeah.
Because it's usually the weekend of my birthday or just before that. But my birthday's the second Saturday of the season this year.
Yeah.
Like the 8th of August feels like a really early start to the Premier League season. But I'm assuming it's because of maybe because of Euro 2016, the season has to end earlier.
It's because the Euros, they're starting it a week earlier and they're ending it 2 weeks earlier.
Oh.
But
there you go then.
But then I think they're ending it 2 weeks earlier. But then I think that the Champions League final is earlier as well, because it was the Champions League final was in fucking June.
Yes, the Champions League final was really late this season, wasn't it? It was like the last weekend of May.
It was stupid. Is the best way to describe it.
But still, man, less than 4 weeks. I can't wait.
Me neither. I
can't fucking wait.
Yes. Anyway, on to more testosterone-fueled fun. Today we have a retro review and we have a new review for you. We're going to cover, in our new review, Magic Mike XXL, and obviously because of that, we're also going to look back on Magic Mike, something that you reviewed on Heroes, I believe.
Yeah.
And, a film which we both kind of enjoyed, and it's good to go back to it sort of 3 years later to see how it's aged and what we've picked up and what worked and what didn't, and sort of go from there before we chat about Magic Mike XXL, the sequel. We're also going to chat some trailers. We're not going to have any questions because we haven't had any because I forgot to ask for any.
Yeah, to be fair, I didn't ask either.
And we're going to chat, if we get time, which we probably will, we're going to chat a little bit of what we've been watching. I know I've not watched a lot because I've quite simply not had any fucking time, but I have got a couple that that I can happily talk about. Ian, is there anything else that's happened in the wonderful world of film this week that we can talk about before we delve into some trailers?
No,
there hasn't. It's been really big. Well, it's all Comic-Con, isn't it? It's all
I mean, what's come out of Comic-Con, if anything?
I know it's I have a rule. I was just saying to Ian off mic. I have a rule. I will not watch any of the fucking leaked trailers. I'll wait. I can happily wait until they've come out as an actual trailer. I was sorely tempted by the Deadpool one though, to be honest, because that seems to have gone down really, really fucking well, which I'm super happy for. Deadpool's a great character, and it'll be fun to watch a proper R-rated comic book movie again.
That fucker is going to make less than 100 million worldwide. I know, box office doesn't mean, critical success, but I do not see that film doing well at all. Rodney Reynolds, bless him, seems to kind of be box office poison. And it'd be great. It would be great if something like that could do well, and maybe with the X-Men connection, maybe they can get something out there. But I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
It's a relatively for essentially a Marvel Comics movie. It's a relatively low budget, in comparison to the budgets that a lot of the other ones get. So it doesn't have to make the sort of 300-400 million, at the box office that a lot of these other films have to make. This is one where they quite literally it's been kind of willed into existence, and I think they're happy a little bit to an extent to kind of go, do you know what, this might break even at the cinema on cinema releases, and then we'll make our money on home release, and it isn't going to be something that we'll get a massive amount of yield out of, but we'll make a bit of money. There's the possible chance that we might make a lot of money, and fuck it, people will stop saying we should do a Deadpool movie. It is literally, it's that. And I'm really excited.
It kind of feels to me like Fox, not as aggressively, but are kind of doing the Sony thing around Amazing Spider-Man 2, where they were just like, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. But Fox are basically like throwing stuff up on the screen and kind of maybe seeing what sticks a little bit. Like, I think how Fantastic Four goes down, that's going to dictate a lot of what happens from there. Like, are we going to see a Fantastic Four X-Men crossover, as is rumoured? If Deadpool does well, could they see a franchise of those films, and could they bring in other elements from the X-Men universe into that? And like I say, it's not as aggressive as Sony, like announcing, we're going to do Sinister Six and we're going to do an Aunt May film or whatever the fuck they were doing there. But it feels like they've still got less of a game plan than Marvel and increasingly DC.
Do you know what, I quite like the idea of the fact that they seem to be releasing this Deadpool movie, and it will be, if it does really well, there might be another one, but they're releasing it as Deadpool. That's it. It's going to be, as it stands now, it is one movie. And one of the things that is starting to fucking wear me down about the whole fucking comic book franchise is everything is leading to the next movie and the next movie. So essentially, it's getting to the point of where we're going to sit down at one point and watch one of these Marvel movies and go, hang on a minute, that was a 114-minute trailer for 4 movies that I just sat through.
That's a fair point.
And that, it's going to get to the point where you're going to go, do you know what? I do not give a fuck anymore. And I'm getting very, very close. You've got the Captain America movie coming up, where that doesn't look like a Captain America movie. It's looking like a Marvel is literally going to weave all its fucking threads and go, this is the movie that catapults us into all of these movies.
It looks like Avengers 2.5.
It is, yeah. And if you're going to do that, why not have just made that the fucking Avengers movie? They're starting. The more I look back on the Avengers Age of Ultron, the more I start to go, that was a bit pants.
It's going to be a rewatch of that. Is going to be very interesting.
It is, yeah, because I might. I'm perfectly open to the fact that I might rewatch it and go, no, do you know what? A lot of fun, actually. It holds up better. I got more out of it. But I also think there could be an idea of a rewatch where I go, this feels really fucking rushed.
My prevailing thing from Age of Ultron is the fact that it's called Age of Ultron, and Ultron is one of the least focused on aspects of the entire film.
Yeah.
And that is a problem. It's going to be very interesting to see, once Joss Whedon is a couple years away from it and no longer really directly involved with Marvel Studios, it's going to be interesting to see what he has to say about that film at that time. But then again, he wrote and directed it, so he
was very whingy about it, though, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. But I mean, in the end of the day, he was happy to take the praise that people had for the first Avengers. Yeah. He maybe should be willing to accept the criticism of the second one. Whereas it kind of feels like he'd just make sarcastic comments, but be a bit mingy about it if anyone actually did to his face.
He started to the red flags fucking started to go off for me with Age of Ultron when he started to get his excuses in very early.
Yeah,
and it was a bit like, ooh, hang on a minute. The movie hasn't even fucking come out. You weren't being like this about the last one, saying, oh, I'll never direct a big studio movie again, and I'm so tired, and it was so blah and blah and blah, and it's like, this is worrying. But yeah, like you say, a rewatch is going to be really fucking interesting on that one.
I mean, speaking of comic booky trailers.
Yes. Well, yes, a bit of trailers. Nice segue there.
Yeah, man. So pretty much the only official thing to come out of like the major film Comic-Con panels, apart from the behind-the-scenes Star Wars thing, the Comic-Con trailer for Batman vs Superman, which, frankly, this should have been the first teaser. Like this, it would have been because it's a bit of a mic drop of a trailer, whereas the first one was a bit of a right, really?
Yeah, yeah. Do you know what? What's an interesting way to back that up? When it came out, the release the Comic-Con trailer, I thought, oh fucking hell, great! Finally, we've got a first trailer for the Batman vs Superman movie, and I thought, wait a minute, I'm sure we've seen something of it. And I went to search for it. It was like, oh no, we have had a trailer, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's I'm really looking forward to it now. I am. It looks like it's going to be 3 hours long.
It looks like it's going to be a bit epic.
Yeah, which I'm not too sure about that. But then again, I suppose you could kind of probably bash through the Bruce Wayne origin story pretty quick. And I don't know. I mean, it'd be interesting if it is just basically a Batman story and a Superman story. Then like halfway through they come to blows or something like that. I think that could be interesting. I think I need to see more of Jesse Eisenberg.
I liked it. I
mean, like somebody on Twitter described him as like a dandy, and I think that's pretty spot on. And if he is playing it like that the whole way through, I think I can go with that. But I think maybe it was more of a mistake of the trailer editing. But when he says the red capes are coming, and then the screen goes black, and then he says it again.
Yeah.
But like the voice, without like the way his body language and his face there, just the voice sounds goofy as shit.
Yeah, but I think that's an intentional part of the character. I think he literally is going to be. Is one of those. He can do whatever his attitude. He can do whatever the fuck he wants because he's got all the money and all the brains in the world. That he can literally just be a dick. I mean, and that's what I get out of it. A little bit like just Jesse Eisenberg, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it's hilarious as well that after all that criticism of the destruction at the end of Man of Steel, Zack Snyder was just like, "Do you know what, Internet?
Yes.
You've just started my next film for me. Thank you very much."
It is glorious, that, isn't it? When I saw that, I thought, oh, that's a wonderful way to turn it around and go, oh, do you know what? Fuck you.
Yeah. I mean, like, I am sure if people hadn't kicked off about that, this film would be different, frankly. But that's such a wonderfully kind of almost like meta trolling.
It is. Yeah. The thing is, Snyder is the type of fucking just smart ass bastard that would do something like that.
Yeah.
I don't be a
know.
dick.
You kind of have to just clap at that, to be honest. Yeah. I think that's hilarious. And I mean, to be fair, that shot of Affleck running towards the kind of like the smoke and the smouldering, like, but yes, obviously it's evocative of 9/11, obviously, but
let's
it's
face
still
it, all of these superhero disaster movies have played on that.
Oh no, totally. But I mean, I think it's quite a stirring shot, and I think it very, very efficiently sets up why Bruce Wayne has a problem with Superman.
Yes. And yeah, it's very clever, as you say, because they've kind of, what they've done is they've gone, well, they've boxed it off in literally a 15-second clip in a trailer. They've gone, all right, by the way, that's this. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that makes fucking sense.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be interesting. I mean, there's a lot of meat in here. I mean, you've got the Batman looking at the Robin costume with the "jokes on you" or whatever it is that it says there, and I don't know. I'm really, really, really looking forward to it. I thought it was a really impressive trailer, and I'm not a Snyder hater, so I've got that in my favour as well. I'm looking at this moment in time. I am looking forward to this more than Civil War, but then again, hopefully we're going to see a first trailer for Civil War soon, and that could completely change. I'd like to think with Ant-Man coming out next week, we might see something from Civil War this week.
It'd give it a bit of a. Ant-Man's one that could backfire. I don't think it's going to actually. I think it'll do quite well. I don't think it'll do amazing, but I think it'll do quite well. But if they wanted to light a fucking rocket under its ass, putting a Civil War trailer before it and advertising that fact would help.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, Ant-Man's going to do fine. It's not going to do even Guardians numbers, but it's going to comfortably do like 506 million worldwide.
Yeah, it looks fun. That's it. It looks like it could be quite a bit of fun, really, to be honest, Ant-Man.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, we'll talk about it next week anyway.
Yeah.
So, what else have we got?
What else have you watched? I've got.
I watched the trailer for the Transporter Refueled.
Oh yeah, what do you think?
I'll watch it on Netflix.
Yeah, that's exactly mine. That couldn't have midweek Netflix watch written over it more clearly.
Yeah.
That,
no, absolutely.
Without question, is a fuck it, why not?
I don't know. I mean, at the cinema before Magic Mike XXL, saw the trailer for this film Paper Towns. I think it is.
It's the new one from the chap who wrote Fault in Our Stars.
Fault in Our Stars, yeah.
Isabel's just read the book.
Oh, fair enough. What did she think?
She liked the book. She liked the book more than she liked the Fault in Our Stars book.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, so she's kind of interested in seeing it, and I've said to her if she wants to go and see it, I'm happy to go and see it with her.
Yeah,
I really liked Fault in Our Stars. It fucking surprised me actually. I really enjoyed it, and the kid who's in this was in A Fault in Our Stars, and he was also in that. I can't remember what it's called. A film that I watched recently that was terrible, but he was actually quite good in it. Nice. Bad Behaviour, I think it's called, or something like that. The film's awful, but he's actually quite entertaining in it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it looks like one I'm just gonna watch at home. I mean, the lead kid, it might be that kid. He seemed a bit monosyllabic and monotone, but that might be at the point in the character. I don't know. It looks like it's gonna have less kind of universal of a feeling to it than The Fault in Our Stars did. It kind of looks like it's going to be very of its target audience. But then again, so did The Perks of Being a Wallflower, and I really enjoyed that.
I really enjoyed it. Surprised me. It very much is that Miley Cyrus and Channing Tatum, Nicholas Sparks novel adaptation. It is that to The Notebook, as that was.
Yeah, that's a really good analogy. Yeah, totally. And I think that's it from me, actually. I've just seen the trailer for that Jack Black starring Goosebumps films online, which I haven't seen yet.
Yeah, I watched that. It looks really fucking good. I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah, it does. It looks like it's because the idea about it is that he's the guy who wrote the Goosebumps books, and a kid moves in next door and accidentally opens one of the books, and all the books start to come to life. And so it's a mixture of animation and real life, and they've been chased by all of the characters from the Goosebumps books.
And Jack Black is playing R.L. Stein.
Yeah, Jack Black's playing R.L. Stein.
That's cool. I like.
Some of the CG looks a little bit, I think, intentionally not brilliant, because it's supposed to look like it's drawn. So I can get behind that. But I watched it and went, yeah, do you know what? Yes, I am definitely well up for, on a chilly October night, going to fucking watch that.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm actually gonna watch that trailer once we're done.
It looks like a lot of fun. Do you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me a lot of what's it called? My brain's gone dead today. The stop animation movie. Paranorman, that's it. Yeah, it reminded me a lot of that kind of vibe they're going for with it.
That'll do for me.
So yeah, I was quite impressed with that. There's the Hunger Games teaser came out. The movie that everybody seems to forget is coming out this year. That fucking franchise has gone from being a global phenomenon to that's coming out, isn't it? So fucking quickly.
I really, really like all the Hunger Games films. I even like the last one.
Yeah, well, you're insane. It looks alright. Do you know what it looks like? It looks like the movie the last one should have been, because the last one could have been condensed down at 20 minutes at the start of this fucking movie.
I'm a little bit like Mike, Chinstroker Mike, from on his opinion on Harry Potter 7.
Oh yeah.
Where he really, really likes part 1, and I think he's insane for that. But I really like Mockingjay Part 1 because I think it's got some really interesting things for the target audience to say about media manipulation, and like how the press can like bring you up and tear you down, which I thought was quite subtle, and I was kind of glad they split it into 2 films, even though that was for purely commercial reasons, because I actually think it did, like, there seemed to be some sort of artistic reason for doing so. I think.
Yeah. I think the artistic reason is somebody wanted to buy a new $200 million painting or something like that. Bridge of Spies. Watch the trailer for that. Right. It looks like Spielberg is trying to make a not Spielberg movie. It's really strange. I don't know, it's just the trailer. You've seen the trailer of this, haven't you?
I've seen the first trailer.
Yeah. It's colour graded to fuck. I mean, and that's not a Spielberg thing.
Minority Report.
Yeah, Minority Report was, but Minority Report looked really nice. It felt in keeping.
Yeah,
this feels it feels like Spielberg's gone, I want to do this story, but I want to do something new. It's like, no, because you're Spielberg, and I'm not a massive Spielberg fan, but I can happily accept the fact that the guy is incredibly talented. But this felt like Spielberg trying to do a cool thriller, and it's just, you're Steven fucking Spielberg. You can do this movie in your fucking sleep, and it'd still be 7 out of 10. If you put some fucking effort in it, it'll be fucking awesome. It didn't feel Spielbergy, which is really weird.
I've got no interest in this whatsoever.
No,
it's gonna have to take some really good reviews to get me up for this. The title is generic as fuck. The plot just doesn't sound all that interesting to me. But then again, he made a 3-hour long film about Lincoln, proved quite riveting to me. So, who knows? But I would have preferred it if they'd actually released this under untitled Steven Spielberg Cold War thriller, which is, what it was known for the longest time. I think this is the first Spielberg film for 40 years that isn't being scored by John Williams as well.
Is it not? Fuck.
I swear I read that because I think he was too busy with Star Wars.
That's insane. That's insane because they just go, it's kind of like cock and balls.
Yeah, quite.
That's mad. Who's scoring it then?
Thomas
Newman. Oh,
yeah.
Fuck. That's brave, isn't it? That's fucking brave, because you get the feeling like if this film's any good or anything like that, in a couple of years' time, you'll have the John Newman score version will come out of it or something like that. It'll arrive on Blu-ray and it'll be like featuring a new score from John Williams.
The first film, not Steven Spielberg film, not to be scored by John Williams since The Colour Purple. In March 2015, after Williams' schedule was interrupted by a minor health issue, Thomas Newman stepped in to replace him as composer. Oh, all right, then I thought it was Star Wars, but
yeah, well, that could prove interesting. Nothing else I can look at for trailer wise. Shall we move on and get our dance on then? Yeah,
talking about colour grading.
Yes.
Let's talk about Magic Mike.
Yes, so we're going to play a trailer from the 2012 Steven Soderbergh. Yes, the 2012 Steven Soderbergh stripper movie Magic Mike.
Good evening. You live here?
Yeah.
Yeah? What's your name?
Kim?
Kim, can you move back for me, please? We keep getting complaints of noise and underage drinking. Everybody sit down. We're gonna be here for a while. You don't have anything sharp on you that I can stick myself with, do you?
No.
Good. Because I do.
The businesses that I manage, they deal exclusively in cash.
Wow, busy guy.
We welcome to stage the one, the only
Magic Mike.
You are the husband that they never had. You are that dreamboat guy that never came along.
Yeah, it's a cool table. But you made her? You should sell these things.
That's actually the idea.
My sister?
Mike,
nice one.
you, Mike.
So how do you know my brother?
I'm an entrepreneur. I manage a few businesses.
Trying to hit on my sister?
Okay, good talk.
Entrepreneur stripper, stripper entrepreneur.
Either one.
I was hoping this was all a joke.
It's pretty funny.
I'm just trying to figure out why stripping.
Women, money, and a good time.
Just try not to forget about the people who exist.
Okay, that was a trailer for Magic Mike, starring Channing Tatum, Alex Pettyfer, Matt Bomber, Joe Manganiello, and Matthew McConaughey, and Olivia Munn, and is she called Cody Horn? Yeah, she is, isn't she?
Yeah.
Yes, yes, well, essentially, Magic Mike, he is a entrepreneur, or is he a stripper, or is he a custom furniture maker? We don't really know. All we know is that he is ripped and he can fucking dance. Ian, Magic Mike, we both really enjoyed it when it came out, but what did you think upon a rewatch?
Yeah, so I still really enjoy it. I watched it with Donna, and she hadn't seen it before, and she hated it. I still really enjoy it. I must say the reason why she was put off almost straight away, the colour grading in it, it is off-putting. It is weirdly like preceding Instagram. It just like I don't know what Soderbergh's intentions were for the lighting of of any outdoors scene in this film. However, I really enjoy it. I mean, it's I like that it's not all completely focused on Mike, and I forgot how much focus there was actually on the kid as well. and his arc. I mean, it's fairly predictable, but I like the way that he and Mike never particularly come to massive blows. And at the end, it's not like a big confessional. It's just, I'm going to pay you back this money, Mike. I'm going to pay it back. And that's kind of all there is to it.
I think the key moment in that scene is where he says, I know you wanted it for your fucking stupid furniture thing. He says, I'm paraphrasing there, but he essentially just kind of like shit talks the furniture idea. And then there is a great little subtle kind of like just shot to Channing Tatum, where it's that moment where it sinks in, where he goes, yeah, this kid is just a dick, isn't he? And there's great little subtle moments throughout this movie like that. It's a very well done film.
Yeah, I mean, I like how the camera is locked off a lot, and it's quite wide angles with like people just kind of talking in the frame, but it's not particularly close up, and you're just kind of watching them from afar. It makes it weirdly almost like documentary style at times, which I think was probably Tatum's, like, because obviously this is like semi-autobiographical.
Yeah.
But I think that was kind of almost like Tatum's kind of want as well, that, it's not about it's not about the filmmaking or anything. It's about these people and this way of life that you don't see on screen an awful lot. And I like the fact that it's a lot of partying, but it's never all that glamorous. And maybe that's what the cinematography's for, actually, just to say that, like, this isn't glamorous, this is very dingy, real world kind of stuff. Like, just the scene on the beach on the 4th of July, it kind of looks like they're, like, drinking outside of a sewage works or something.
Yeah, it doesn't... It very much sort of plays it, so it doesn't want to actually glorify everything and say, look at these guys, amazing lives, and they've got all this money and everything like that. None of them seem to actually have any of it kind of together. They seem to have fun, but only in the same way that if they were all just fucking, I don't know, roofers, just going out on a weekend. It's that kind of fun, but it's the kind of fun that they can have where they've got a kind of a heightened opinion of not of themselves, but of their own confidence. That's their confidence levels are fucking turned up to 11 because they have this adulation, but it is still just almost fucking 9 to 5. None of them are, the fact that he still keeps all of the fucking cellophane on all the plastic wrapping on all of his car, because then you can sell it and still keep the money. You get the feeling that if it all ended today, none of them would have enough bank to last the rest of that month.
Yeah, I mean, which is something that the sequel certainly gets into as well in more detail. But I think Dallas is a really interesting character as well in his relationship with Mike, in the way that he's basically stringing Mike along. And he's kind of seeing him as his prize mule or something until the kid comes along, and then that like his intentions kind of change. I do enjoy that, and even though he's obviously not a central part of the film, though, Dallas, and it's very much an and Matthew McConaughey kind of role. I mean, it's not a perfect film by any means, I don't think. I mean, I think Cody Horn is brutal.
She is so terrible. I mean, I remember it being bad. And I've seen this film, this was my 4th or 5th watch, maybe. Because actually, weirdly enough, I saw this in the cinema twice for some reason. Isn't she something like she's her
dad's a studio head?
Studio head, yeah. You can tell. Because the scene where Pettifer essentially has a little bit too much, we'll say. I don't think he maybe quite ODs, but he's not in a good way. That scene is, the more you watch it, the more you go, oh, this is bad. Oh, yeah, this is not good. She's really ropey, and the other thing is there's no chemistry between her and Channing Tatum.
No, none at all.
And
none
you
at all.
don't see. There's nothing in her that you see that you go. The only thing you could say that he sees in her is she's the polar opposite for the girls that he usually gets.
I was thinking that basically she's a challenge.
Yeah, or I don't think it's that she's a challenge. More that she's stable and she's steady. And
Yeah,
and that she's not going to ditch him for the new him in 3 or 4 years' time.
no, that's true. But I don't know. I mean, there's the bit where she's seeing Mike dance for the first time, and it cuts back to her every now and then, and the look on her face is exactly the same every single time.
She is. She's so stern.
Yeah, and it's like, is she supposed to be like getting into this or something? I genuinely can't tell.
Yeah.
Like what I think, like from a filmmaking grammar point of view, I think it's that she gets into it and then kind of catches herself and kind of snaps out of it. But from her performance, sorry,
she's an intentional misery.
Yeah, but I mean, her performance doesn't really say that. It's a monosyllabic face.
Yeah, she is, and there's a few other issues that bleed into that are mirrored from this. She is a bit of a fucking charisma vacuum, and when you've got Channing Tatum, who is the polar opposite, that he's an incredibly charismatic guy. When you have that level of charisma versus that level of charisma, it's just. It stands out like a fucking miserable sore thumb, and I think it doesn't ever become a problem, but it isn't. It is sort of an issue with the film.
No, I mean, an increasing amount of screen time is given to her as the film goes on as well.
Yeah,
and that stuff doesn't help. I mean, there's some similar kind of stuff going on with Magic Mike XXL. I think we'll get into that in a minute. But I kind of watching this. I didn't remember how little like kind of on-screen time the other members of the troupe actually get.
Yeah, you're very much. Well, I mean, leading into the Magic Mike thing, not actually going into it, but just because this, what is it? I actually forgot that Tito was actually in this one.
Yeah, I mean, he's maybe got 3 or 4 lines in the entire film here.
Yeah, we're very much introduced to them as people, as look, this is this character, this character, this character, this character. Beyond that, done. Which kind of for Magic Mike XXL, which we'll get into soon. It does kind of work. All right, it never becomes a problem. We've been introduced to them enough that we recognise them. But yeah, there is very little development of them, which is quite strange because it's not a short film. It's 110 minutes. And it's not all about Channing Tatum, but there is a lot of Alex Pettyfer. There's more of them than I remember them being, to be honest.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it's a good balance between him and Tatum for the actual focus of the film, I think. And, I mean, I think Pettyfer's pretty good. I mean, pardon me, he's got a very kind of standard arc, but it kind of reminds me of Tommy Gunn from Rocky V.
Yeah, it is. Yes, it is very, very much that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I was looking at Pettyfer's credits, and like he's done fuck all since Magic Mike. Apparently he's a bit of a douche, and I think he's kind of burnt some bridges.
Yeah, well, he was categorically not invited back, apparently, for XXL. Yeah, he is. He has got a reputation for being a little bit of a dickhead. and that's quite reflective from what he's actually made since, because you do get the feeling where Channing Tatum, a lot of people have worked with Channing Tatum, and a lot of people know Channing Tatum, and he's become a bit of a player. He's producing and everything like that. You get the feeling if somebody said, "Oh, Pettifer, we've heard a few stories. What do you think?" He could quite easily turn around and go, "Don't fucking do it.
Yeah.
Find somebody else. Find somebody else that can do it. Actually, me. I'll do it." Okay, I'll do it. I'll do a lot. Because he does. He works his fucking nuts off, and he's the one thing I did notice from watching, because I watched XXL and then I watched Magic Mike.
Right, okay.
That way around. I watched Magic Mike after I watched XXL. But he's a lot bigger, beefier in XXL than he is in Magic Mike, and he's pretty beefy in Magic Mike.
Mm.
But yeah, that guy fucking works his nuts off.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I remember when this was first announced and whatnot, and like, it was around the time that Tatum was working with Soderbergh on Haywire, and it's just like, Channing Tatum, really? What? And it's amazing the progression that he's had in the last few years, where like now, pretty much anybody at least likes him.
Mm. And his next two films are a starring role in a Quentin Tarantino film and a starring role in a Coen Brothers movie.
What, from now?
What? He's going to be in Hateful Eight and Hail Caesar.
Channing Tatum's in Hateful Eight?
Yeah.
He's one of the 8?
He has a big role, apparently.
Really?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, Channing Tatum's in Hateful Eight. Apparently, it's not confirmed apparently what role he is, but Tarantino has said correction, not a big role. He said it's a significant role, is what he said.
That's interesting. Yeah, he's on IMDb as rumoured.
Yeah, apparently he is in it, and it's a significant role. It was so he might be in it for 10 minutes and do something, major to the story. You don't know.
Oh shit!
But he's a fucking interesting. He's a really interesting screen presence, and he does a lot. His credits are pretty insane for somebody who's only been working for 10 fucking years. He's done a lot of movies.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. I mean, it's and I mean here, you do actually you get the full gamut of Tatum. Like, he acts and he acts well.
Yeah.
And he does his physical stuff as well. I mean, it's a great showcase for him.
That's one thing that I really kind of enjoyed about Magic Mike is the fact that it is very much it's a genre pick, and that happens about male strippers. But what it does is it gives you the male strippers. It goes, do you know what? We're going to show you these fucking dance routines. We're going to show you, this is Channing Tatum saying, this is semi-autobiographical. And I can actually do these fucking dance movies because the people who are going to watch this weren't the fuckers who watched Step Up, sorry. And, you get the dancing and everything like that, and it's great to watch this technical aspect of it. And I'll come to that with Magic Mike XXL. But yeah, it seems like we're kind of wrapping up on Magic Mike because it is a film I think we spoke about a couple of times anyway. But it still fucking holds up really well. And one thing I will say, it is pacey as fuck for a movie that is not just shy of 2 hours long, an hour and 50 minutes. It bangs around. It gets going quite quickly.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I like the way that it kind of builds up, and like you kind of discover what Mike's doing at the same time as the kid does, and like the way that Mike's like, you gotta, I'll let you in, but you owe me, and that club and whatnot, and kind of the way it goes from there. I like how it builds. Let's get to Magic Mike XXL. I think we got more to talk about.
Yes, certainly.
There, to be honest.
Right, so we'll play a trailer for Magic Mike XXL, and then we will get into it.
I got a little treat for y'all tonight. We're gonna see if he still got some magic in that mic.
Tomorrow, start the pilgrimage to Myrtle Beach for the convention.
I wish we had known you guys back in our day.
Well, I'd say it's still your day, man. I mean, if this really is our last ride, what if we make up some new routine?
In this game, it's evolve or die. Are you ready to be worshipped? Are you ready to be exalted?
What are we?
We're like healers or something. Yes, man.
Oh, yeah.
It's not bro time, it's show time. Are you guys ready?
Okay, that was a trailer for Magic Mike XXL, the sequel. This one isn't directed by Steven Soderbergh. It's directed by Gregory Jacobs. Written by the same people, and much the same cast return. Channing Tatum's back there, Matt Bomber's back, Joe Manganiello's back, Kevin Nash is back, Adam Rodriguez is back, and they're joined this time by Amber Heard, Jada Pinkett Smith, Andy McDowell, Donald Glover, Elizabeth Banks, and a whole host of other beautiful fucking torsos, we'll say. Story is, it's set 3 years after Magic Mike. Mike himself is now running his custom furniture business. Things don't seem to be going fantastic. Brooke is completely out of the scene. She's mentioned but never actually in it. And the guys essentially meet up with him and say that they're going to a convention in Myrtle Beach, and it's their last hurrah, the last ride, as it's called several times throughout. Mike decides that, you know what, he wants to be in on this last fucking ride, so off they go, and essentially we get a road trip movie, which is really interesting way to look at it. Ian, Magic Mike XXL.
Well, do you want to start us off, bud?
Okay, I will, yeah. It's, on a whole, I really enjoyed Magic Mike XXL, on a whole. However, the first half is really, really fucking good. And then something happens, and we get, for start off, it's 115 minutes. There is a section of this movie you could quite easily just dive into, lift out, throw away, and not even fucking notice, really. And at that moment, what it does is it takes these characters that like we said about Magic Mike, so, you know, Big Dick Richie, Ken, Tarzan, Tito, and Tobias, these are reintroduced, they're more fleshed out, we get to know them better, and it's a buddy movie of these guys going on a road trip, and it's the fucking last hurrah, and it's like, yes, fucking, I'm liking this. And then what it does is it introduces a couple of new characters, and goes, oh, and here's some new friends that they've got. And you go, I don't give a fuck about these new friends. I genuinely don't give a fuck. And what makes it worse is the new friends they introduce are either an insufferable, arrogant little twat, or an insufferable, arrogant, fucking charisma vacuum. And they are Donald Glover and Jada Pinkett Smith. Not only does it introduce these two people, it actually makes them the people who are gonna get an audience riled up. And then towards the end of the movie, every time Jada Pinkett Smith starts talking, she saps all of the life out of a movie. And her character's job is to put life into it. It is a fucking casting car crash. And it almost fucking ruins it for me. Because by the end of the movie, I was looking at my watch going, oh shit, this should have ended like 10-15 minutes ago. You've tried to eke too much out by introducing characters that I just don't give a fuck about, because I was already caring enough about the 6 of you.
I didn't think they were that bad.
She's awful. She's so... Do you know how awful she is? Do you know how awful she is? She actually made me go, oh, fucking thank Christ Andy McDowell's turned up. Because I thought she was great, and I usually hate her with a passion.
The thing is, Jada Pinkett Smith is playing someone who has to be fake.
Yeah.
And, like, has to kind of, has to rile up people. I thought she was fine for that. I liked her weird relationship with Mike.
That's fine, but that scene is, that segment is way too long.
I'll agree, that segment is way too long. Specifically, the amount of time, like, focusing on the dancing in that scene. It goes on and on and on and on. I would say, Donald Glover is barely in it, bud. I mean, I really like that one conversation he had with Matt Bomer, where they're talking about it, and then they kind of come on, like, the idea of them being healers.
Yeah, that's fine, but I didn't need I didn't need him essentially doing his rapping. That was just...
I mean, that's part of that sequence.
Yeah, which
is
need.
Yeah.
Just it felt completely just. It felt like it shouldn't have been in this movie. It
does affect the pacing very badly.
Kills it at that point. They managed to pull it back because the next fucking kind of segment we get to is actually quite entertaining. And it does pull it back. But then I will admit that when they got to that hotel and they go, oh no, I thought, oh no, fuck, no, please, not them. Oh god. They're back again, are they?
I know, I mean, sorry. I think you're being a bit harsh there.
They destroyed the pacing for me, and for that, I found it hard to get back on board with them.
I mean, I was fine with that. I had more of a problem with Amber Heard, to be honest.
Really interesting about the Amber Heard thing, right? I didn't know she was in it for a start off, and all of the time I was, for like the first sort of like 2 or 3 scenes she was in, I was going, fucking hell, she literally is just the fucking non-union Mexican equivalent of Amber Heard, isn't she?
Yeah.
And she, but she has none of the fucking, the poise or charisma of Amber Heard. And it got to the point I was like, hang on a minute, that is actually Amber Heard, isn't it? And
right.
Go on.
It just, again, like you were saying, you wanna spend time with these guys. You enjoy spending time with these guys, and that aspect of the film is the most successful aspect of the film.
Absolutely.
They all get their bits. They all are distinctive. You remember all of them. But then you've got Mike having these conversations with Amber Heard, and it's just, why does Mike have to have a romantic interest in this one?
He doesn't at all. None of this makes sense. She could be a character that doesn't need to be there at all.
She adds nothing at all. I mean, like, there's nothing thematically, nothing narratively. She's just there.
She's a bit of a downer, isn't she? And the fact is that the fact that Mike even calls her on being a downer is a bit like, you know, when she's eating the fucking red velvet cake, and it's like, she's, again, a word that you've used a couple times, and that she's very monosyllabic. She's so, oh, for God's sake.
Even though I liked the way that they used that Cookie Monster song in the end.
Yes, I also yeah, it was fun, and it was, but again, you're putting somebody up who usually is quite kind of charismatic, but it seems to be as Amber Heard goes along and gets more through her career, she's stopped being really fucking quite interesting and quite good, and happening to be quite striking to look at, to now she's just quite striking to look at, and that's it. And oh no, wait a minute, Amber. The fun bit about you was that you weren't just that, but now you're just that. Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, the film was feeling a bit long anyway, and I think if you take her out and if you shorten the Roma, whatever her name is, shorten that sequence, and you'd have a better film.
Absolutely,
I would prefer more sequences like Joe Manganiello being dared to make that woman smile.
That could have been absolutely disastrous, but it worked so fucking well. It was brilliant.
It's the way he plays it, the way he's kind of like smirking at it the entire time, but then really gets into it. And then his delivery at the end, where he's just like, how much for the Cheetos and water? It's
the great moment of that as well is the fact that next scene he's eating a bag of Cheetos.
Yeah, totally. That's fantastic, and I like the intent behind that scene as well, where it's not just a random dance number. It's like he's trying to rediscover his mojo.
Yeah, it is. It is the, you know, it's them going, you know. It's him showing a vulnerability of not being able to come up with something himself, and you know, and then he kind of goes in and he doesn't really know what to fucking do. And the first thing he does, what's really interesting about the scene is, because he doesn't know what to do, he tries to tie his shoelace because Mike's just told him you can fucking tie your shoelace and make it go okay. And so he tries to do that, and when he realises shit, that didn't work, he just starts going for it, and it's fun and it's playful, and that worked. And that, like you said, when it's just the guys doing stuff, it's when that camaraderie it works really well, and it kind of it sings. It's great. It's when they try and introduce other elements into it that you start going, I don't need those. No, you've got 6 guys who all have their own little personalities, and all essentially are just nice guys. You don't need to try and give us more. That's enough. Stop trying to XXL it. The XXL thing is the fact that we're focusing on 6 guys, not one and a protege.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, oh fuck, I forgot what I was going to say. Shit. I've completely just blanked. Oh no, yeah. And I mean, I like the way that I was kind of thinking at the start that like the Matt Bomer, Channing Tatum kind of relate tension was going to go through the whole film, and that was like there was going to be a big sticking point. I like the way that about a half hour in, they just completely resolve that.
It's a fun way to resolve it as well.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, but then and then it's done, and they just move on from it. Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. I mean, the first half is better than the second half, but I still really enjoyed the second half. I mean, the kind of the end show I thought was terrific. The Joe Manganiello bit was like just insane. And I really like the way, I didn't notice this with the first film, but the amount of money that is chucked at these guys
is upped as well in this one.
It's like, it's proper, like, make it rain.
Yeah.
You know, I really like that. And just like all the girls in the background, they've all obviously been like, the first AD must have had a hell of a job, like telling these girls like when to chuck the money and what they should be looking like and stuff like that. And like, I kind of wonder whether a lot of it was almost like done as live, just like,
I think it was,
here are your natural reactions. Here are really hot guys doing this stuff in front of you. Here's free money. Just chuck it at them.
Yeah, it absolutely was, and I can say why I think it was. If you watch Amber Heard's face all the way through that last dance number as Channing Tatum is like lifting her up and moving around, she isn't fake laughing and reacting and getting all kind of like, oh my god, this is amazing. That is genuine, and they've upped it with the dance numbers in this. They are really, there's so much for fluidity and technical aspects. It's just brilliant to kind of watch. And an interesting thing is, because you watched it at your screen, were you the only person there? Did you say?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which must be that's great. I love it when that happens. I was there with 18 girls, right? And when I got in, I sat down, when I put my bag down, and I was taking my hoodie off, and I was getting out my bag, because I have a routine. I always clean my glasses as the trailers are going. So I was getting my glasses wipe out, and there was like two girls sat, not the row in front, but the row in front of that, of me. And one of them, in the least subtle way anybody has ever done anything, tapped her friend and leaned over and went, there's a guy here. And she clearly tried to whisper it, but I thought, I am stood like 4 feet away from you. And her friend turned around and went, oh my God, there is. I thought, A, I am stood up, and B, I can absolutely hear what you're saying. And then they turned around and went, excuse me. I was like, hello? Yes? And they went, are you gay? And I said,
are you serious?
Serious. And I went, no. They went, oh, are you in the right screen?
Shut up, really?
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, this is the Terminator movie, isn't it? And they went, oh, no. I said, no, I said, it's Magic Mike, yeah. And so like, oh, but you're a guy. Like, what? And a guy can't be excited about coming and watching Channing Tatum gyrating around for 2 hours. And they went, well, you know, it's not really a guy movie. And I was like, that's sexist.
Yeah.
That's sexism. So
what did they say to that?
They just went, well, no. So I said, I guarantee you, I'm going to enjoy this movie probably more than any lady here. And you know why? Because what's wrong with looking at a semi-naked guy and going, do you know what? Bravo. Well fucking done.
Yep.
Because you have... That shit doesn't happen naturally. That shit doesn't happen by accident. You have earned every little bump that is on you. You have earned all of that. Bravo. Well done. I'm going to bask in the glory of what you have created.
Yeah.
I am no fucking shame in that. It is amazing. I am working out like a motherfucker at the moment just to get to look even a tenth of what one of these guys looks like. So I have, you know what? Channing Tatum looks amazing. The dance routines are just incredible. The bit where he's using two girls and like propping up his own weight. There's a moment actually where he's propped up on the back of a chair, and the upper body strength and the balance that takes. I don't care if that chair is fucking drilled into the fucking floor so it can't move. The upper body strength and the balance that takes is incredible, and it is just great to fucking watch.
It's that, and I think it might be in the same sequence. Is it in Jada Pinkett Smith's place? Yeah. That fucking bit where he kind of like flips, and then he's like stood with his head on the chair the girl's sitting on, and he's just like balancing. It's not that bit you're talking. No, it's not that bit you're talking about, is it? Yeah, but he's balancing his fucking head and just bouncing his legs around.
Yeah, it's the dancing,
Christ.
But it's so. I mean, even the dance bit where he's in his workshop and he's like floating around off stuff. You're watching it going, fucking hell, that's that's skillful. It is somebody who is ridiculously good at what they are doing, and it's something to be impressed by. You know, the fact that every time Joe Manganiello takes his shirt off, people go, "Holy shit!" And it is. If I had met Joe Manganiello, I would literally just say, "I know this is going to sound fucking weird, but I don't care. Can I just put my hand on you just to see what it's like?" Do you know what? I reckon he'd go, "Knock yourself out, man."
Yeah. Donna's a big fan of his as well, and I've got to say, like, I'd be all right with just watching him go at it.
Do you know what? If you were to sit, because he's
she'd have to be all right with watching me go at him. In fairness,
because he's engaged to or married to Sofia Vergara, isn't he?
Is he really?
Yeah, I'm sure they are. Don't quote. I'll check the fact. I'll fact check that now. But I'm sure they are a couple.
Do you know what? Well done to both of them.
Yes, they are.
Well done, both of them.
They became engaged on Christmas Day, 2014, right? And I looked at that and I thought, do you know what? If they were stood in front of me and they went, do you know what? You can have a go on either of us. I'd go, do you know what, Sophia? You've got all of that Latino, swagger and everything like that. But Joe, let's go.
It would be a little bit flip a coin, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I'd be happy with it. Yeah. But but there was at one point where I was watching, going, "Fucking hell!" When Matt Bomber started singing, I was like, "Oh." So basically, there's nothing you can't do. Is that what we're going to establish? There is nothing you. The only thing I'm looking at Matt Bomber now and going, I don't think you can grow a beard. That is the only thing I think you can't do. And I guarantee you, if I Google Matt Bomber beard right now, that's it. The fabric of my existence would fucking crumble. But I'm going to do it now. I'm going to Google Matt Bomber beard. And see what happens.
Well, he can't. One thing he can't do is get the lead role in the 50 Shades of Grey film.
Well, yeah, but he fucking dodged a bullet with that one. Oh, do you know what? I don't think you can grow a beard. It's wispy, it's got gaps. No. Fuck you. Oh, 0.1. Yes.
All right, nice.
I can grow a better beard than you. That's it.
Nice.
That's it. That's all I got. But even that scene should be terrible. That scene where there is them with a group of fucking menopausal women and he starts singing should be terrible. But it works because they're likeable.
Yep. Yeah, no, absolutely. I really like that scene's fantastic.
Yeah.
And I love the glass slipper thing.
Yes.
Like, we have learnt in this film that Andy McDowell apparently has a 10-inch deep vagina.
But the thing is, you kind of sat there going, right, is it Kevin Nash or is it Joe Manganiello that's going to end up getting with Andy McDowell? And I love the fact that she is fucking full-blown Southern belling it up. I like that, and it works so well, and it's ridiculously entertaining. It's such a sweet scene, and it sounds really fucking bizarre for what happens in the scene, but it's such a sweet scene. These guys are literally just having fun with these girls. They're not, and the women are not taking the piss out of them or using them to fulfill some kind of fantasies. They're just going, do you know what? We're just going to have some fun. And it works really, really well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, this is the thing. The film is about men basically having a good time, but also trying to please women. And the fact, like, that scene, yeah, they're not doing it for the money. They're not doing it to even, like, train or anything. They're just having drinks and just, like, praising women for being women.
Yeah, it is. It's fun. I thought it was interesting about what Channing Tatum said about it when it, because the film got a little bit. People were trying to kind of criticise it, saying, it's reverse objectification of men.
No way.
And he kind of came out and said, hang on a minute, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with a little bit of, objectification. We're actually asking for it. We're saying, objectifiers, that's what this fucking movie is about. But what is wrong with looking at an attractive man or woman and going, they're attractive?
I mean, I kind of see it from the point of view that if this was about female strippers, then it kind of seems like that argument would be more prevalent.
It would, and I could see its point more with that, certainly.
But I mean, this is the thing: these guys enjoy what they're doing. Like Mike's arc is that he basically wants to get back into it. Yeah. He wants to have those eyes looking at him, like you say. He wants them to objectify him. But I mean, at the same time, I mean, like that thing that I said earlier about Matt Bomer and Donald Glover have about being healers. I really like that. I mean, because out of context, it sounds stupid, but the way they're talking about it and the way that conversation evolves, it feels very natural, and they get onto that, and then they're like, healers, yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it's the kindred spirits kind of thing.
Yeah, and it doesn't feel like they're going to just use that as advertising or something. It feels like, yeah, they believe that. And, they demonstrate that very well in the next scene with Andy McDowell.
Yeah. I don't think it deserves the kind of how it's been painted, and what my worry was that essentially what we were going to get from this movie was the movie that everybody thought the first movie was going to be.
Oh man! After watching the trailer, I was very uh-oh.
Yeah, we both sort of said that, and it isn't. It isn't that movie. Yes, it has elements of that, but the first movie had elements of that. It's one thing that I really got out of it. It's really enjoyable. It's fun. It's funny. It's got a little bit of drama, not as much drama as the first movie. But there's a lot of make you smile moments. Yeah. It's a bit of a celebration movie, and I like that.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. There is barely any conflict in it. The only conflict is the Matt Bomer, Channing Tatum stuff, and that's sorted out in the space of a couple of scenes. Yeah. And the rest of it is essentially them hanging out. I mean, like even the fact that stripper convention at the end isn't a competition. I mean, they actually say it's not a competition in it. It's just they're putting on a show.
It is. It's their last fucking hurrah.
Yeah, I thought that was cracking. I really liked it. It's a very different film from the first one.
Oh yes.
But I think it's just as good. But the positive parts are different positives.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. The more I talk about it, the more I go, do you know what? I like it. I think I'm liking it a lot more than I thought I did when I came out of the cinema. Because I'm actually already going, do you know what? I'm looking forward to rewatching this.
I'm going to rewatch the fuck out of this.
I will rewatch this probably more than Magic Mike.
I agree with that.
Because this is a boatload of fun. When I actually said to Bex, I said, after I came out of it, because Becky didn't watch it when I watched it. Actually, I was the only guy there. I just said, I bet this movie would be a fucking riot to watch in a packed cinema with a bunch of essentially women who are there to enjoy watching the movie, watching the dancings and things like that, and almost like a participation audience thing. I reckon it'd be a fucking blast to watch that, be there, because I was in the screen, not massive screen, but a screen with 18 other women, and they were laughing at the bits that were funny, essentially. And they were, there was an energy towards it, and it almost felt like a communal kind of experience. And when the film finished and I got up, the two girls who'd been talking to me earlier turned round and went, "What did you think?" And I was like, I really enjoyed it. What do you think? And they went, "Oh, it was really good, wasn't it?" Yeah. It's like, yeah, I enjoyed it. Was there enough Channing Tatum in it for you? And there can never be enough Channing Tatum in anything for me. And, it was that, there was, I don't know, it felt like that kind of film community thing that you don't tend to get as much anymore. I heard stories about the fact that, there has been some raucous screenings of it. And I say, fuck it, do you know what? if it's a 9:30 screening, maybe put, have a audience participation screening like they did with the Mamma Mia thing. Have those screenings, because if I'd gone and I wanted to just sit down and watch it and people were doing that, I would get pissed off, because that's not what cinema's about. But if you advertise it and say, look, this is an audience participation thing, you can whoop and cheer and fucking throw fucking £5 notes at the screen if you fucking want to. I reckon that'd be quite a lot of fun.
Yeah, and absolutely.
Definitely not shit.
Oh my god, yeah. And to be fair, I mean, Magic Mike as well, definitely not shit as well. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I was thinking I'd probably enjoy it anyway, despite the trailer, just from like what I'd heard about it. But I had a really good couple of hours, flew by.
Yeah,
apart from the middle section.
Yeah, apart from the middle section, which I the more I talk about it, the more I'm going, do you know what? You can fucking forgive it. You can forgive it.
That section was too long.
Yeah. There's 2 dance scenes in it that go on for too long.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. But I mean that. But yeah, that's it. Cool.
Cool. Ian, do you want to throw a few what you've been watching at us?
Yeah, I'll just run through a few. So I rewatched Chappie, which I still think is fantastic. I mean, it's not a perfect film, but I think it feels like one that a lot of the people poo-pooing it now in 10 years are going to be saying, why didn't people like Chappie before it? But, in on the ground floor with that one. Focus, which I WhatsApped you and Jordan, Mike and Noel about 20 minutes in. I was just like, I'm really enjoying this. It's amazing how it pretty much depreciates in value as that film goes on. Like basically the first sequence has Will Smith saying, "I like boobs," and what's the other line? He's talking about Margot Robbie, and he's saying, I'm gonna do some what's it, Saudi prison shit to her or something.
Ooh,
and it was just
I've not seen it.
Oh, all right, fair enough.
Yeah,
sorry.
No, you ruin it as much as you want, because I will watch it at some point, but I'm really not.
Yeah, it just and that's fun. And it's also, I can't believe this is a standout thing in this day and age, but seeing a black guy and a white woman get together on screen, it's refreshing. It is, and it's horrible to say in this day and age that's a wow kind of a thing, but it is. And they've got decent chemistry together. However, none of it is as clever as the dumbest episode of Hustle. And that's Donna and I used to watch Hustle every Friday night when they did it always used to be a new series of Hustle, like the turn of the year. There'd be 6 episodes, and every January Friday night, we would sit down and watch Hustle. And it was great, just shitty, guilty pleasure, fun TV. And I swear, even the dumbest, most obvious episode of Hustle was less obvious than the shit that's going on in Focus. It's amazing. It seems like they think it's smart as well. And I'm really saddened because it's written and directed by the guys who did Crazy Stupid Love, which is, I think is, yeah.
I liked that.
Yeah, I think that's a terrific, underappreciated kind of rom-com type thing from a few years back. And this, it just, the sparring between them is great, but it's just, as it goes on, there's just no real oomph to it. It looks nice, but the relationship doesn't have much sparkiness. It seems like it's going to in the first 10-15 minutes. but once they kind of fall for each other, it kind of stays very neutral for the rest of the film there. And the kind of the main plot as it kicks in isn't really all that interesting. And it gets less and less engaging with pretty much every scene. But I mean, I got a free rental off Google Play. Anyone with a Chromecast at the moment, at least in the UK, they're offering a free rental to anyone with a Chromecast. You just have to go into your Chromecast app and go something like look for offers in the app.
I can't find that fucking actual tab on the what is it. I'll have to have a proper look. I didn't have a proper look, but
So you've got to go into your app.
Yeah.
Let me just bring it up now. I'm on Android, but I'm assuming it'll probably be the same kind of thing. Go into your app, select the Chromecast.
Yeah.
And then, like, if there's an options tab.
I think there is. I don't think I went in the options tab. Yeah.
And then it should be like check for offers.
All right, I'll have a look. It's on Isabel's phone.
Oh, okay.
It's not my Chromecast. It's Isabel's Chromecast.
Yeah. But so they're offering like free rentals on there. So I was just like, sod it. Like, Focus was on there to rent. I've been meaning to watch that. I'm kind of glad I'm not chucking my own money at it. Why not? Go on then. And it was a 3 out of 5. It was fine. I'd mildly recommend it just as a in and out.
Yeah.
Hour and 40-minute kind of like, and then you're done kind of thing. You can sit through it fine. Which probably isn't the best recommendation, but hey. So I'll just go through a few other things quickly. I watched Grandma's Boy. Have you ever seen this?
No.
Right, it's on US Netflix. This right. So I'm flicking through US Netflix, and I just see a picture of a guy playing video games with a monkey sitting next to him.
And you decided that you have to watch that.
Yeah, and I was just like, all right then. Stuck it on.
It's a Happy Madison one, isn't it?
Yeah. And basically, it's about this guy who's a video games tester, and he has to move in with his grandma, and he's developing a game, and Joel David Moore plays a computer programmer freak who's like a boy genius, but he's got multiple personalities, and I've always talked like this. And so he's constantly talking back and forth at himself. It's bad, but it does have a monkey doing kung fu. There were a few lines that made me laugh. I liked that the thing is, me talking about comedy on the show has been forever tainted by Haunted House 2.
Is it one of those films that's it's shit, but you really enjoyed it watching it?
That's basically 2.5 on Letterboxd is my it's shit, but I really enjoyed watching it rating.
Yeah, you see, I can lap up those kind of comedies. I can watch those kind of comedies where you go, you know what? I'm aware this is a terrible movie. I'm aware that there is no reason for why I am watching this, but I enjoy it. I mean, fuck. This year, I had a week where I watched 5 Pauly Shore movies, so I can't fucking comment on comedy.
Yeah, no, exactly. But I mean, I double billed this last Thursday, this and Private Parts, the Howard Stern film.
Private Parts, the Howard Stern movie is a great fucking movie.
I really enjoy it.
I maintain that movie is fucking great.
It's very self-congratulatory.
Yes, that's what I like about it.
Yeah, which is it is kind of refreshing actually. Private Parts. It's on Netflix UK. I've seen it before, but it was on Netflix UK. I was on the train. I just thought, sod it. This will do.
Yeah.
I mean, the skits, his skits are still like really fucking hell. He's actually doing this on radio, like. Stuff like the infamous one where he made the woman come.
Yeah.
That is fucking crazy. And I mean, like the fact that was when he did that was like 30 years ago.
Yeah.
It's a hell of a thing.
It is insane how successful Howard Stern has become.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm good on him. Good on him. It's very, very fun. There's not really much to it. It's a little bit disappointing that it kind of moves away from the focus of his kind of family life and more to his relationship with his producer, programmer, played by Paul Giamatti. It kind of goes more into that later on. You kind of I'm kind of more interested in the kind of the proper behind the scenes in the home stuff. And I don't know, it's difficult though. Obviously, with Stern playing such a big part in this, maybe if that stuff was a little bit too close to home, then you can't really get around actually doing it because you've got the actual person involved. But it's really fun. I'll just very quickly. I watched Empire Records on your recommendation. Well, I'd seen it before. One of the most 90s films ever made.
Oh, it's incredibly 90s, isn't it?
It's kind of sad just looking at that film now and just thinking, now, if Empire Records had actually existed, it probably would have closed down about 10 years ago.
Yes.
And, Anthony LaPaglia would probably be on the streets by now, It's it'd be fascinating to do a sequel to that film where they're all just down and out, and just completely fucked over by Spotify. But yeah, it's enjoyable. I did like it. I don't know. It's not one that lives long in the memory for me. I love that Maxwell Caulfield is in it though. I'd completely forgotten that.
Yeah.
This and Grease 2 must be the only two legitimate films that guy's ever done.
And he dines out on those like a motherfucker.
That and porn.
Yeah.
Good old Maxwell Caulfield. Oh man, yeah. I watched Mortal Kombat. I've watched some shit on. I tell you what, I texted you yesterday saying what cut of Aliens should I watch. By the time we got Lottie to sleep last night, I was just like, I can't be asked to watch a 2.5 hour long film. So what did I watch instead? Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat, the Paul W.S. Anderson film.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't seen that since I saw it at the cinema.
It's Christopher Lambert, is supposed to be playing a lightning god in it, and it just...
Yeah, it just... Nothing worked with that movie, did it? It just all went wrong.
It's amazing. There's a Scorpion Johnny Cage fight where at the end it actually does one of Johnny Cage's things from the game, where for no reason whatsoever the kind of the skulled up corpse of Scorpion, an autographed picture of Johnny Cage saying to my biggest fan just get thrown on the corpse. It's does he just keep those in his jacket while he's fighting?
Yeah.
What's this?
I would think he does.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's bad. It's just the fact that Mortal Kombat theme tune, that plays in every single fight. I think it's what the fuck. The thing is, by the time I got to the end of it, I was like, do you know what? If Mortal Kombat Annihilation was up next on Netflix, I'd probably stick it on. I'd had a few beers. I wasn't feeling too well yesterday either, and it was good. I'm thinking of starting a series called Saturday Night Shite, and I don't know, man. Instead of Aliens, I watched Mortal Kombat.
And weirdly enough, it was more of what you needed at that moment.
It was. Anyway, I'm done.
Cool. I've watched 2.5 movies since the last time we recorded, with the exception of the Magic Mike ones that I've watched. I've watched half of Hector and the Search for Happiness.
Oh God! Did you just turn it off?
I turned it off because I was tired. I wasn't hating it, but I wouldn't go as far as to say I was enjoying it. Let's just say I only watched half an hour, and Simon Pegg's character already seems like it's been 3 different characters already. But last night we watched. I didn't watch a Mortal Kombat, unfortunately. I rewatched The Shawshank Redemption for the first time in a few years, to be honest.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And it's a bizarre thing in terms of it's very easy to forget how fucking just on the fucking point this movie is. From Darabont, Roger Deakins, cinematography looks fantastic. Thomas Newman, who we mentioned earlier in the show, his score is brilliant. Robbins has never been better. I don't think Morgan Freeman's ever been better. And it's just shy of 2.5 hours long, but it fucking flies by. And it continues to be just, it often gets fucking kind of shit talk about the fact that it's occasionally according to IMDb, the best rated movie of all time. But fuck, if you take IMDb ratings as a sign of any kind of quality, then you're a fucking retard. But it is great as in the sense of it is a universal movie, whereas it'd be very hard to not say that's a great movie for everybody who watched it, because it is a great movie. So I watched that. I also watched the documentary Gascoigne.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm a huge Paul Gascoigne fan. Grew up watching him. I remember, the big kind of things. I remember, Italian Night. It was like the first World Cup that I remember. I think I was 7 years old and already fucking football crazy. And I remember sitting down to watch it with my dad and my uncle and my granddad and people like that. I remember this, and I remember Gazamania, and I remember getting caught up in that. And I also remember getting a VHS of a documentary made in the early 90s that Gaza made about himself, essentially. And this was leading up to just before he went to Lazio. And so I remembered all of that, and I had been a sort of a follower of his career and everything like that as a footballer for decades, essentially. And so I was very much looking forward to this. And this is how the documentary's built. A feature-length theatrical documentary on the life of Paul Gascoigne, one of the greatest footballers that ever lived, deep and delving into his psyche, vulnerabilities, fears and triumphs. For a start off, Gaza was a genius footballer. Let's not go too far. He wasn't one of the greatest footballers that ever lived. That's just, he may have gone on to become one of the greatest footballers that ever lived, but he had very bad injuries that kept him out of the game and ended up seriously harming his career. And those injuries led to blah and blah and blah. It's a Talking Heads documentary. These are the Talking Heads that are in it. It is all focused around, essentially, a long interview with Paul Gascoigne. And Talking Heads are Gary Lineker, Jose Mourinho, and Wayne Rooney. That's it.
Really?
Yeah, there is no more than those. It is just those. Gaza talking for the majority of it. Essentially, it is one long interview, and then occasionally Gary Lineker crops up. Gary Lineker is clearly on his own and not being interviewed by somebody. And clearly like, on his own in his bedroom or something.
Well, so he's
like
just
that.
chatting away?
Yeah. Mourinho, the first thing he says is, Paul Gascoigne is the special one. And it's like, oh, fuck off, you insufferable prick. And Wayne Rooney, Wayne Rooney talks glowingly about him and like he's my hero and everything like this, and that's brilliant. But they are the 3 talking heads on it, which kind of makes you go, really? You couldn't have got anyone else? You could have got other people. It's 90 minutes long, and it never gets beyond there being some interesting moments of Gaza saying, like for instance, the reasoning why he went to Tottenham over Man United is quite simply because Tottenham bought his mum and dad a house, his dad a car, and his sister a sunbed. That is the reason why he went. And there's moments, and there's bits where he's talking, and you can clearly see this guy is a fucking broken man. I mean, he is not mentally well. And there's bits where he says stuff and he laughs about like, oh, I did this and yeah, and it's like, really, I don't think you should be laughing about that.
Yeah.
And there's so many kind of, you know, he doesn't seem to be aware of his failings, and he seems to have pushed a lot of his issues with addiction and everything like that. He doesn't seem to own them or take responsibility for them. And it finished, and I thought, there, you've got an incredibly fascinating character in not only sport, but in culture. And you have barely even fucking skimmed the surface with it. This could have been a great documentary, and it ends up being nothing more than a TV special that has been out.
Is it just like a bit too enthralled to him, or
it's the majority of it just is an interview, an extended interview with very occasional bits of Wayne Rooney looking pensive as a camera kind of like soft flashes around him, and then him going, oh, he's great to watch and he's amazing and the stuff he did was brilliant, and that's about it. Or Gary Lineker going, well, yeah, the problem is with Paul is, you know, he'd do this and it was brilliant, and essentially he's a really nice guy, but he has these issues. And with Lineker, you get across the fact that he has a genuine affection for him, but you get the idea that he has a genuine affection for him and he genuinely cares about him. But if you rang him, he'd go, no, I'm not letting that happen. I'm not letting that happen. I've tried. He has tried to help him. And a lot of people have tried to help him.
What World Cup was it where he was one of the pundits for the ITV coverage?
It was
and like
98, I think, maybe.
Was it 98? Where like
he was gonna go and he didn't go, did he? Yeah.
No, there was like he was a pundit on like the first round of games and then just got dropped. Because he was incomprehensible and just turned up pissed. Was it the Euros? Was it?
That was the 2,000 Euros.
Yeah, okay, that rings a bell.
Yeah, it was 2,000 Euros. He's and there's bits in this where he's been interviewed, and you can clearly you're looking at him going, he's drunk. He's clearly drinking right now.
It is staggering that Paul Gascoigne isn't dead.
It is absolutely staggering. But he clearly has just, you know, it is amazing the fact that there's one bit where he's talking about when he went to Rangers and he did the flute thing. And he tells a story there about, you know, the next day he got a letter saying, my name is blah, this is my address, I'm going to kill you. And he contacted the police, and the police said, all right, well, you know, we'll go and we'll investigate it. And he said, like, 3 days later, the police said to him, stay in your house, don't leave your fucking house until we get back. He said, 3 days later, the police came back, sat me down and went, yeah, we've been to see him, and yeah, he's genuine, he's going to kill you. And he started into it, and he started going, this is amazing, and then you are hit by but hang on a minute, he could be talking shite. This is the same guy who turned up to a murderer's fucking meltdown with a fishing rod and a box of fucking chicken.
Do they address that in it?
No, none of they don't address that. They don't address any of the domestic abuse issues at all. They barely investigate his drinking. At no point is he mentioned as being an alcoholic. He happens to mention a couple of times, and that's when I started drinking a bit, and that's when I started doing cocaine. At no point do they mention is it they affected your lives quite badly, haven't they, Paul? At no point is that done. It very much is they don't want to at any point challenge him.
Yeah.
It's being honest, 90 minutes, it's a waste of fucking time.
That sounds really disappointing.
It's incredibly disappointing. I was so disappointed. I was ridiculously looking forward to this. To the idea of, I have had this on my iPad, and I don't mind watching films on my iPad. I wouldn't watch a first watch of, let's say, Age of Ultron on my iPad. But a documentary Gascoigne is fine to watch on it. But I was going, do you know what? No, I want to watch this and really fucking take it in. Because I watch films on my iPad, like, on a night if I'm at work and it's quiet, I'll watch it like that. Or if on, like, a Saturday I'm working and I haven't got anything else to do, I'll watch that. But that is how I ended up watching this. But I was about 40 minutes in and looking at it going, I've got 45 minutes left of this. And I'm tempted to just not bother. Because this isn't going to tell me anything that I already don't know about Paul Gascoigne. It's a massive disappointment and a complete letdown. And this documentary has got some praise, and I have no idea how. It's quite simply not very good.
Yeah, fair enough. I won't bother then.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't even bother for the curiosity factor, because I just think that you'll be disappointed. There's a really good documentary made about this guy's life, and this is a 45-minute TV documentary made into an hour and a half feature-length documentary. Other than that, I've got nothing.
Okay, well, let's call it a night then.
Yes, I think that wraps up the show nicely. Like I said, no questions because we didn't actually fucking ask for any. But you can contact us dudeandamonkey@gmail.com, at dudeandamonkey, at dudefoz, at Ian Loring. Ian, what are we covering next week?
Ant-Man.
Yes, we are.
Man of Ants.
And we'll be joined, I think, again by Noel for that one, I think.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that. To be honest, I'm quite confident that it's going to be a really sort of entertaining movie. That's what I'm hoping for. So if you want to fire any questions during the week to us, if you think about, fire it across to us, and we will get to it. But other than that, this has been episode 118 of Dude and the Monkey, and we hope you have enjoyed it.
Bye-bye.
Bye.